Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
The Secret Service has struggled in recent years with understaffing and poor workforce planning. Some of those challenges have precipitated high-profile security failures, including the 2024 assassination attempt on President Trump. Now the Secret Service is overhauling its workforce management systems as it also undertakes a major hiring push. Federal News Network's Justin Doubleday joins me now with more details. Justin, thanks for being here.
Hey, Terry, good to be here.
Hey, what are we learning about how the Secret Service struggled to keep up with the pace of protective operations over the last few years?
Yeah, it's no secret that the Secret Service has been understaffed, but this DHS Inspector General report that just came out in the last couple of weeks really puts those challenges under a microscope and specifically homes in on the years 2020 to 2024. And in the latter part of those years was, of course, a presidential election. A lot happened, the attempted assassination on then candidate Donald Trump. So it's really important to look at some of those years and see how the Secret Service has responded, because over the course of fiscal 2023 and 2024, the Secret Service was understaffed by an average of 21.4%. And so that led to some significant challenges that, you know, a lot of folks know about today. But what the IG really found was it wasn't just the understaffing that challenged the Secret Service, but incomplete workforce data and inadequate planning that essentially led the Secret Service to assign agents to these marathon shifts with little time for rest in between, and of course contributing to burnout and exhaustion across the ranks. And the poor planning also led the Secret Service to assign unqualified personnel to protective events, and really just led to these cascading effects that, you know, a lot of it stems from the understaffing, but there were a lot of associated issues that the Inspector General report highlighted here as well.
You mentioned that almost 21% understaffing at a time when the demand for their services was rapidly expanding. Was overtime the only method they had to make up for the fact that they didn't have enough staff?
It was certainly the primary method. The agents reported working a collective 1.192 million overtime hours in 2024 alone. There were also 1.4 million law enforcement availability pay hours, leap hours, and that's overtime too, essentially, where Secret Service agents are required to be available to work an extra 2 hours every working day in case they are needed. Secret Service personnel also lost out on $15 million in overtime earnings between 2020 and 2024 because the agency had blown past congressionally set pay caps, and so the Secret Service statutorily could not pay out that extra overtime. And so this actually exacerbated the agency's planning even further, because Secret Service agents reported that they did not put all the hours they worked into the Secret Service's system for tracking that. Their hours were changing too frequently. They didn't update their schedules in the enterprise personnel scheduling system. And that just led to these further kind of cascading effects where the Secret Service then didn't know how long these agents were working or didn't have that tracked in their systems. And so you can just kind of see this sort of circular problem that built up on itself in terms of, you know, agents are working too long. There's incomplete data. There's this really interesting quote, that anonymous Secret Service official quote from the report where auditors asked, why don't you have a policy for determining, you know, how long a shift should be or the time for rest in between shifts? And the Secret Service official said, I don't think we would get anything done. We don't have enough people. And so that really underlines the problems here.
It seems like it would almost be cheaper to hire more people than to pay out all that overtime.
Yeah, and that's something that we'll talk about, but the Secret Service is certainly working on that right now.
How did these workforce challenges intersect with some of the problems that were highlighted by the July 2024 assassination attempt on then candidate Donald Trump?
Yeah, there was a separate DHS Inspector General report on this very topic, on the assassination attempt, that came out at the same time as this understaffing report. And it's really interesting to look at the parallels here. There's some significant overlap. For instance, the IG report on the assassination attempt found that the Secret Service assigned an undertrained counter-unmanned aerial system operator to work at that Butler, Pennsylvania campaign rally where the attempt occurred. And the operator's system actually malfunctioned during the event, and partially due to their lack of training, they were unable to address the issue, and they were not able to detect a drone flight that was performed by the suspected assassin, Thomas Crooks. So you had undertrained, kind of unqualified person in that job at that event, and that's part of the problems that the understaffing led to and the poor planning led to as well. The report also found the Secret Service didn't allocate enough personnel to the campaign rally because of insufficient intelligence sharing within the agency. And that's something that the Secret Service also says it's working to shore up the intelligence sharing and the subsequent assignments that come from that intelligence sharing to different protective events going forward.
Those are some pretty significant findings. So what is the Secret Service doing to address those kinds of challenges?
So the Secret Service had pretty lengthy responses to both reports, and a lot of things have happened over the last couple of years already. One thing the Secret Service said it's done is enhanced the enterprise personnel scheduling application to ensure that it accurately records all hours worked, including overtime hours, and also ensuring that employees are paid appropriately and are not running into pay cap issues necessarily. The Secret Service has also updated staffing models using that application's data, because now they have more accurate data. They can have more accurate staffing models to plan things out for the future. Finally, the Office of Protective Operations at the Secret Service is developing a new protective resource management application, and that's a system that is going to support decision making as far as how personnel are deployed, by incorporating things like personnel availability, geographic location, and competing assignment requirements. So you can see how that system, which is supposed to come out this September, will be important for how the Secret Service plans out its deployments going forward.
But all of those systems will mean nothing if they don't have more people. So how are they coming on the hiring efforts?
Yeah, so the Secret Service set a goal last year to hire 4,000 new staff through 2028. And those plans were really bolstered by $1.2 billion that was included in the tax and reconciliation bill last year for the Secret Service. The Secret Service this year says they want to add or hire at least 2,000 new law enforcement personnel. And during an April 16th hearing, Secret Service Director Sean Curran says that they're well on their way, that they are recruiting, hiring, and training with a purpose, and using new methods like accelerated candidate hiring events to reduce the timeline it takes to hire new agents. Another thing that the Secret Service is doing is also updating its training infrastructure. Curran says that hasn't changed since he was training for the Secret Service nearly 25 years ago. And so that's something that they're really looking to do as well to help boost recruitment.
That's Federal News Network's Justin Doubleday. Justin, thanks for the story.
Thanks, Terry.
You can find the full details at federalnewsnetwork.com.